Well, just taking you a step forward now,
Hmm.
uh, you have selected one item that needs to be done.
Yes.
Can you give me 5 steps that we should take to generate demand in our country?
One was, of course, I said about front loading the infrastructure project, which with infrastructure pipeline, and concomitantly, either ways, we have now scant respect for FRBM targets and FRBM rules. We in fact suspend the FRBM. We can do away with it. The second one is, of course, the GST holiday or deferral, which we can do it for the next 1 year. The third one, Doctor, I would strongly urge, and I would definitely think about it in a very serious manner, is to bring just 2 slabs of income tax at this point in time and see whether we can phase it out. See, at this point in time, statistics suggest 1 to 1.5% of our population are paying income tax. And it is time that we start thinking about doing away with income tax for this 1.5%, which will be a major stimulus for the economy.
So abolish it.
Doctor, I wish you were the finance minister. Unfortunately, we don't have that privilege today. But I would suggest that the best way forward is to make income tax redundant over a period of time, the next 3 years. And I think Professor Vaidyanathan has also suggested this. Make it 15 lakhs exemption, 15 to 25 lakh have 10%, and about 25 lakh have 20%, so that you weed it away over a period of time. The fourth one.
No, just one amendment. You see, I have talked to many people about this income tax matter. They say the issue is not how much we have to pay. The issue is the harassment of paperwork and the fact that these income tax are, wild men from Borneo, and they pounce on us. They make even honest people, to be crooks. So therefore, we just want to know that tomorrow nobody is going to come and knock on my door. Therefore, they want a complete abolition.
Yes,
that's neat. Whereas if you start doing the same thing, then again the paperwork, everything continues. So at least I think on this issue, you should yield to my point of view, that there is no question of reducing and all that. Just clean, abolish income tax.
Doctor, I absolutely yield to you, no doubt about it. And you also recommended or suggested in various of your programs, lectures, and your book about alternative ways of raising revenue to compensate for the abolition of income tax. I am with you on this, and perfectly. Ideally, since I have also given up my chartered accountancy practice, it doesn't hurt me also personally if income tax is abolished. So I have no vested interest either. But I thought in this country, I'm only reminded of what P.V. Narasimha Rao says in one interview. In this country, there can be no abrupt, U-turns. He says you have to take gradual U-turns, and only taking his wisdom.
You should say that he abolished overnight.
Yes, industrial licensing. Yes, you overnight abolished a controller of capitals. He virtually did away with monopolies in the MRTP Act. Yeah. I'm fully aware. And doctor, there was one thing interesting about it. I passed my CA with all those laws. And the day I become a CA, I became redundant because it was an unformatted hard disk. I had to relearn the whole laws all over again because he had abolished the whole thing. But I'm saying that if it can, I was only suggesting a gradual approach, and this approach I think may be the best way. I concede to that logic that you have to do a big bang reforms. Yes,
you prefer halal to jhatka.
Yes. I'm more secular than you are, doctor.
Ramesh wants to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically on the income tax, just one small point. India spends 47 paise to collect 1 rupee of income tax.
That may not be entirely true, Ramesh. That statistics is slightly fudged. It may not be that way around. It is because again, it depends on what is your definition of income tax. Whether it's only the personal income tax, because income tax includes also corporate income tax, which today is a slightly big number. And so this 47 paise may not be the exact one, because government total budget of employees, including defense budget, is around 6 lakh crores. And defense, your income tax is around 6 lakh crores on personal side. So you can't have 50% of it only to income tax employees. I'm very sure that statistics is a slightly misleading one.
Somebody was publishing it, so I just thought,
I know this goes on in some circles also. It may not be the case.
What about as far as corporate tax is concerned? You tell companies if you build houses for your employees, it is tax deductible. If you build schools for your employees' children, that's tax deductible. If you have buses go and pick up from their houses the employees, instead of they're coming through metros and taxis and so on, then also that expense is tax deductible. Don't you think that it will first do part of your work as well as give relief to the corporate sector?
That would be a very ideal way. But in India, what is the problem? I tell you, we calculate the books as per the Companies Act, and then we have to calculate the income as per Income Tax Act, which is substantially different from the income as per books. So there is a huge amount of deductions and exemptions and restrictions. And notwithstanding this, you cannot have your income being less than 30% of your book profits, which subjects you to a minimum alternative tax. Suppose your book profit is 100 rupees and you do a smart tax planning as what you suggested, like buildings and for your employees and carry them by buses, and you expend on a variety of things. Even then, your expenditure cannot exceed 70 rupees more as per your income tax, and then you cannot say that I won't pay tax. You have to pay tax minimum for 30 rupees. So this is a minimum alternative tax that we have. But what is happening, the whole of litigation is on how do we reduce, whether we have actually reduced this from 100 to 70, because 30 is a given in any circumstances. Everybody has to pay tax on this 30 rupees. Sir, my suggestion is make alternative book profit tax as the main tax. This is only one section, 115 JB, and make this as only the alternative tax. Pay, if suppose Reliance declares 100 crores profits into 20%, that will be your tax. Simple. So everybody knows 20% is the tax, 100 crores is my profit, pay 20 crores, be done with it, and 80 crores is your take home, you do whatever. It will simplify, it will put 90% of the tax lawyers out of business. Okay, this can be done simply, and believe me, minimum alternative tax is the biggest source of revenue for the corporate tax. But this can be simplified. But there will be, I'm sure by the time we finish the program, just a minute, Ramesh, this is a very important point. Delhi will be on fire, Yamuna will be on fire, because this will make many of us redundant. So that lobby, and sir, when I started my +2, I heard late Palkiwala speak in Chennai. He said the complexity in income tax is a goldmine for practicing chartered accountants and lawyers.
Correct.
And that rings in my ears even today. 35 years later, that rings in my ears as if he spoke in front of me just now. And that tells the sorry state of affairs. Sir, I have to finish 2 more points, which you said, give me 5 points. I've finished 3. I'll just take 2 more.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring in. That's anyway, go ahead.
Okay. 2 more points. Sir, the state level reforms are not happening.
Yeah.
The problem with us is Prime Minister talks about Atmanirbhar, Prime Minister talks about Make in India, toys, so many things that he talks about. But there is no follow-up at the state. For instance, let me take Tamil Nadu, for instance. Tamil Nadu would not have the fire in terms of improving its ease of doing business. Tamil Nadu does not want any great fight. Say when Tuticorin we had a sterilite copper smelting plant getting closed. Tamil Nadu thinks that is a problem for Narendra Modi to be tackled, and that is a problem for India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal to tackle with China. There has nothing to do with Tamil Nadu's growth. Today, when the Niti Aayog is releasing the ranking index of various states, Tamil Nadu is not figuring in the first 10. Now, a big manufacturing state doesn't figure in the top 10. It's a sorry state of affairs.
Yes, sure.
So the reforms, unfortunately, are not taken by the state level. And that is, again, a very worrisome. Last but not the least, judiciary and administrative reforms. unless we do massive administrative and judicial reforms. For example, I will ask you, sorry sir, you should not ask a teacher a question, but let me ask a question. What would be the heavenly contribution of, say, the steel ministry in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
What would it be, say, for labor ministry?
Yeah.
Why should we have a labor ministry? In the sense, when we can do away with it and so probably merge it with home ministry, with a joint secretary to look into it, or a commerce ministry to look into it. I don't understand. We have ministries after ministries. It's textile. Now, textile, we are beaten black and blue by Bangladesh.
Yes.
And for getting, now let us assume we get beaten black and blue in cricket by Bangladesh. People would have asked Ravi Shastri's head. People have said Kohli must resign. Yeah. But nobody says anything about it to, say, the textile minister or labor minister or anything. So the reforms that has to happen at two levels. One is at the central level in terms of all these ministries getting closed, and I'm told there are 11 export promotion council for textiles alone. The silk board and this board and that board, each one a fiefdom of a particular person for 20-30 years.
Yeah.
And once he gets in, it is like a termite. He won't get out, or she.
What about rate of interest on loans?
Sir, the problem is that rate of interest ideally should be brought down. But you see, today I was going through the statistics of inflation. The inflation seems to be hardening. This is a very paradoxical situation that we are in. No textbook in economics is able to give a solution for this. On one hand, we have demand collapsing, and there is an inflation, especially food inflation, is creeping up. So I don't know whether the headroom available for RBI to soften interest rates any further exists. But ideally, that would be a function of your fiscal deficit. Ideally, that would be a function of raising revenues.
Let me ask you this. If I were to take a loan in America from a bank, now
yes.
Ramesh is here, I don't think I have to pay more than 2% interest.
Yes.
Typically, Dr. Swami, it's prime plus 1 or 2, prime plus something, but prime is near zero in America today.
Yeah. In here, it is 12% prime lending rate.
Finally, it may be 10.5 to 11 or 12, depends on which bank and where it is.
Yes.
MR, even if I borrow unsecured loan for business, it's 10.
Yes.
So, therefore, how can you encourage investment if your rate of interest is so high? It's not there. I know many people in America, particularly Indians living there, who take a loan from American banks, come to India and lend that money. As NRIs, they can come with any amount of money, and then they privately lend out money. So without doing any work, from 2% to 10%, that means 8% without doing any work.
Yes.
So this is called interest arbitrage. So we want to, and fixed deposit is going lower and lower every year.
Yes.
So the household savings, which used to be, a huge amount of 34-35% of GDP, today has come down to 29.
The latest figure suggests 21.
21, imagine. Yes. What a collapse.
It's a collapse.
So, I'm surprised that the finance ministry doesn't understand these things. All they can think of is green shoots and V-shaped recovery. They don't tell me whether I'm on this part of the V or part of the
we have fifth point. Fifth point.
No, I finished the fifth point with judicial and administrative reforms.
Yes.
Okay. And I had suggested
that's not an easy task.
Sir, but 6 years is too long a period to have started something concrete. Now, the people are demanding some balance sheet after 6 years of run. Now we are in the 7th year.
Correct.
Now I'm saying, sir, when I was in my first year of articles in CA, in one of my companies I had gone, they had a lot of bad debts, bad stock, everything. And they didn't know what to do. And in one quarter, they had fire. The MD started debiting everything in the books and cleaned it off in one go. And in that, he said, everything he blamed it on the fire. And he said, look, because of the fire, I had to write off. Because of the fire, I claimed it. And because of the fire, this I did.
COVID. Oh my God, I thought but it's become an act of God.
No, COVID is an excellent opportunity also. Every crisis is an opportunity.
Yeah,
Doctor, you will agree with your sagacious way that every crisis presents with us with an opportunity. 1991 presented us with an opportunity also. There was a crisis, and that if you leverage, you get an opportunity.
Same thing with the Green Revolution. It came.
Yes. So when they did not give us rise in 1965, rise and wheat, we said, okay, we start doing this, and we did it. So, and nuclear bomb also, we said we will do our own when they did not give us this technology. We developed our own indigenous technology. So every crisis is an opportunity. Looked at it from a different angle. So this is the time where we have to pushing for massive administrative reforms and judicial reforms. Like for instance, the way it is looking at, Supreme Court is now no longer going to have this physical hearing.
Yes.
And they are already thought about virtual hearing in from say at least 1 year down the line. We may never think about a lawyer, Supreme Court senior advocate going and presenting himself in the court and thereby dictating the proceeds of the court. It could be somebody sitting in Tirunelveli, wearing his jacket and appearing before the lordships in virtual time. So point I'm making is that this is an opportunity to do some extraordinary reforms and pass it on COVID. COVID gives you that, gives that shoulder to you. And one of the biggest thing for starters, let me tell you that why not make IAS officers' children go to government schools? No, you have an excellent document on the new education policy where people are debating whether it should be Tamil, Telugu, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I want government employees per se send their children to government schools. The moment you do this, sir, my view is that a substantial part of the debate will get compressed because the toilets will be clean, water will flow, teachers will be present, the buses will work, the bells will ring, the ayahs will be there, the canteen will work, everything will be smooth, and it requires no cost. It is out of budget, out of revenue, no need. Only thing we require is one small, and this is, I have tested with at least 3 or 4 senior advocates. They say this is absolutely a legal proposition. Even Allahabad High Court seems to have passed a judgment favoring this idea.
There's one.